All right, me and you family. So today we have a special guest. Actually, this is the first music artist that we're interviewing for the first time ever. So huge thank you. If you don't mind just introducing yourself to the family and just let them know who you are, where you're from, and what do you do actually, and what music genre you're actually in.
All right, so my name is KAHSEZ, and I am from Cleveland, Ohio, but I currently live in Toledo, Ohio. It was for school for sure, but I do gospel music, gospel rap, and that's been a fun journey just because I started doing music in 2020, and it was just secular music. I was just not glorifying to the Lord, and it was just secular music. I just found myself talking about money, woman, girls, and that was just not fulfilling for me. And last year, the Lord recently changed my heart and shifted it into becoming a man of God to create music. So I've already been following God, right? So like my faith has been in like just in everyday life, it's ups and downs in life, ups and downs, and that's how my faith has been. And I remember just a year or two ago, the Lord was just like, use your giftings to build the kingdom. Use your giftings to glorify me. And I was just like, why not? Like the Lord has allowed me to make music. He has given me this ability. So why am I not using it to glorify and build up the kingdom? And so when I started just making music like that, I just felt more of a connection with Christ, and that's been a fun journey because now the Lord can meet me where I'm at.
That's good.
When I am writing music and listening to music, it's just me and Jesus together, just vibing. Because like people don't really know the Lord likes to have fun too. Like Jesus, he's just not. Even though he might seem strict and stuff like that, he loves to have fun. He loves to meet you in your talents and in your giftings, and we just have to allow him to use us within those talents and within those giftings. And that's what the Lord has met me, and that's what the Lord has shown me within the past 2 years. The past 2 years have been awesome and great because that's where I've been really taking my faith serious. You know what I mean? And like I said, like it's been ups and downs, and it's always going to be ups and downs. You're always going to have a rocky road, but you always have to lead yourself or allow the Lord to lead you back to Him.
So
Which
this is.
means, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the question I have for you is, do you find yourself sometimes going like where you would want to lean into a little bit of the secular side in a way, but to kind of because I know you've seen Brandon Lake and Jelly Rolls, like there's still a little bit of like a secular side of it, but at the same time, there's still the message is clear. It's like everybody knows Brandon Lake as a believer, as a Christian artist. People don't know Jelly Roll specifically as a Christian artist per se, but
Right.
he has the heart of serving. So it's just like he's been through turmoils. So now the question I have for you is like, does sometimes your music flow back a little bit into the secular side, but you still are getting the message across? Like you're no longer talking about the women, money, and whatever else. Now it's
Right.
still talking about God, but you're trying to kind of like get the hearts of those who are not used to listening to Christian music. Do you find yourself sometimes dabbling with that a little bit, or is it specifically more high gear towards like, no, you know that it's Christian music because it specifically talks about the Lord. Bible scriptures are included in the words that you speak. Is like, is that where is like you've geared towards ever since your growth and your relationship has gotten better?
Right. So that's a great question. So with making music, you want to make sure that the content that you are creating, especially if as a Christian artist, isn't hypocritical to your faith. And so like you can make, I guess, quote unquote secular music. I'm not sure if you ever heard of the group Surfaces or Forrest Frank.
Yeah,
He's so like Surfaces when they started off, they were a Christian group, and people knew they were Christian, but their music was just like it was just fun and upbeat, but it wasn't degrading women. They weren't talking about partying. They weren't doing any of that.
but it was the
And
vibes
so,
they gave off.
yep, it was the vibes that gave off, how they carried themselves, whether it was on social media or through their music and stuff like that. So there is a way that you can do it. You just have to be careful about the content that you're putting out and just making sure it's not hypocritical to your faith and to your walk and to who Jesus calls us to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and see that's where it's like as a podcast, it's like I have to have that healthy balance because I tell people it's like I am a believer, but at the same time I've always been the type of person who's like I'm never gonna shove it down your throat because it's like
Right.
when I was a child and I was young, I didn't like going to church. I didn't like the whole. But then again, I started out in the Catholic church, so things were done a little different at the time when I was younger, and so I would literally be a little kid on my Game Boy being distracted from the word because it's just like the environment, I didn't like it. But then as soon as I went into a non-denominational church, it's like it was a whole different environment, and that's where like my journey began. And so for me, it's like music. I love music. Don't get me wrong. I still go listen to certain songs, but it's like there's that. Um, it's almost like you're jumping into dirty water sometimes when you
Yep,
listen to
yep,
certain songs and you're like, man, I love this song because it made me who I am today, but why does it have to be that way? It's like, why does it have
yeah.
to say those words? And it's like, I try to, and so some artists that I've actually reached out to interview as well, I'm like, do you have a clean version of your song? Because I want to advertise the music because it still sounds good. But if they don't got a clean version of it, it's hard for me to kind of like really want to push it out there because I don't
Hmm.
want to send the wrong message. And even my friends around me, they're like, they introduce me to some songs that still has cursing or talking about certain things, and I'll still listen to it, but they already know that that's not the route that I swing around like to listen to that. That's not my cup of tea. So
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of
So
funny
like,
that. Go ahead, boss man.
oh, go ahead. Oh yeah, I was about to say like like music can like music really does shape your emotions. It can shape how you're feeling. Like, and that's so true. There'll be times where when I'm at the gym, I have to listen to like hype music in order to
Hmm.
get my adrenaline pumping and stuff like that. And I remember before, well, when I was just like struggling in my faith, I would listen to just Tentacion, who's one of my favorite artists, or
Yep.
Juice World, or YNW Melly, Lil Wayne, all those guys, and I'm just listening to the music, and like they make great music, but
Yep.
they shift the mood and change your emotions. Like Juice World, maybe sometimes I'm walking around like I don't know why I'm feeling upset and sad right now, and then I go to X, I'm like I don't know why I just want to feel like I want to go crazy. You know what I mean? And it's just like the music can shape emotions,
Yep.
and I think that's where we have to be careful when listening to it because it's I don't think it's a sin to listen to these music artists or anything like
The
that,
sin
but
is
it's
the
all about
influence.
yep, yep, and it's how you I guess when you listen to it, how are you receiving it, how are you letting that affect your walk, your faith, and how are you letting it affect you emotionally and stuff like that. So I think you just have to be diligent with that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like I think the only artists that I listen to that sometimes swear, like I mean, I used to listen to Cypress Hill, is like Wu
Oh
Tang
yeah.
Clan, and Wu Tang Clan is a little bit on the cleaner side though. They actually were more MC style, but they do have a lot of lyrics in there that are not too fondly approved of. But it's like NWA. It's like I used to crank that all the time. So it's like I'm guilty of listening to a lot of stuff that nowadays is looked at a little bit different just based off of verbiage. And then
Right.
it's like XX Tentacion. It's like I still listen to like the song
Me too.
Moonlight. Is like
Yeah,
every
see,
time
that's the crazy.
it's like I'll be like, you know what, I'm in the mood to listening to Moonlight, and it's like why to me it's like it's the sound it has. It's like it's a very soothing tone. Granted, there's a
Hmm.
swear word in it, but at the same time, I just listened to the clean version because somebody like I
Hmm.
know he posted the clean version, and somebody else also even cleaned it up even more as well, so that it like it's moduled a lot better. Because I think his producer at the time um, I think it was like a friend. I don't think it was like an actual legitimate professional. I got to do a little bit more research on that. But I remember at a certain point in time, is like he just had one of his bros help him with producing because I think that it got to the point where he had the same producer as Drake, something
Oh
along those
wow.
lines.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I used to listen to it and like follow them all the time. Like Billie Eilish is like I like her music, but her music videos sometimes don't uh
I be seeing.
yeah. But again, the music is good. It's like they have great voices. It's like and sometimes they do have songs that give off a great message, but then they have those lyrics in between. Like remember
Yeah.
what was the name of that song? This is New York. It's like is
Oh my.
there's the biggest controversy that nobody ever caught, and even I'm guilty of it. I didn't catch that Jesus won't save you.
Yeah. Life starts when the church ends.
I'm like, it's in your face. and,
Yeah.
and it's like the music is so good that you are singing along, but then there are some lyrics you don't understand or hear because you're like, oh, it's a good vibe. The music is a good vibe. And that's why I tell people, it's like, I actually try my best now to listen to the lyrics. It's like, as much as I love the beat, it's like I try to listen to the lyrics because I'm all about the beat. I was like, I used to sit, There's a producer back in Virginia where I used to live at. I used to hang out in the studio and just listen to him produce beats, and then I would tell him, it's like, it's like that frequency hurts the ears a little bit, so it's like just crank it down just like a dabble, and it's like, and then it'll be more soothing to the ears because some people can hear those frequencies up high a lot louder. So it's like you gotta. That's why when it comes to production, it's like you gotta be very careful with how your volume levels are, because you might think, oh, the volume levels are good on a phone, but then you go to a car speaker and you just blow their speakers out.
Hmm. Yeah. And I like what you said about music, how you listen to lyrics and stuff like that. And the more I mature and grow in my faith with Christ, the more when I do listen to secular music, I'm like, oh shoot, I catch that. But 10 years ago, it's like I would have never even caught that at all. It
Out the
went right, yeah,
window.
right over my head. Like, so that's something that, like, music can control a lot of people, and that's why it's important to just make sure you know what you're listening to.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, listen to the lyrics, because sometimes the beat is just bumping, and there's songs that I have and I listen to, and I'm like, it's just for the beat. The first 40 seconds is cool, then I'm gonna try to change it, and stuff like that. So yes, definitely got to be careful with like what we're feeding our minds and feeding our souls and stuff like that, for sure.
So do you produce everything? Like you're the one man show, like you produce your music and then you record it in your own little studio, or like, or at home, or do you actually go to an actual studio?
I actually go to a studio, so the most I do is write, find the beats, work with the producer, and then I take it to like an engineer, producing engineer, and then we'll get the working.
Oh, that's good. How much does that? So I don't want to put no business out there. You don't have to, but on average, like how much does that typically cost? Is like, because I know as everything's price is going up, so does the work that you get to hire a producer or engineer for.
Oh, definitely. So it varies. It's between 50 and 90 an hour, depending on who you're working with, where you're at, how popular they are, what state you're in. You know what I mean? But it varies between like $50 and 90 an hour.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Uh,
Not at all.
It's like over in the DMV. It's like I'm not even joking. It's like 150 standard for an hour.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding when I say that. It's like DC, Maryland, Virginia. It's like there's a little bit of taxes happening there, but then again, it's like typically it's the people that are a little more established that
I'm about
charge
to
that
say,
amount.
okay. Mm.
Um, like my friend that was like learning how to produce, he would only charge like 25 an hour. Like he went and he was
Oh
starting out,
wow.
but he was making actually decent music. He actually got flew out to California because a producer wanted him on board just to kind of make a
Oh wow.
song. And I was like, well, it's like, hey, it's like, keep going. And I think he still produces. I haven't touched base with him in a while. But I know that the main reason why is like I kind of stopped talking to him per se is because he was really in depth in that secular side of things, but it's like heavy, like talking about drugs and all that other stuff. And I
Hmm.
was like, that's not my vibe. And
Really?
ironically, I even rapped on a song with him and my cousin, but my lyrics were clean. Like, but it's like the message was still wrong because I was talking about a body.
Right.
It's like you'll end up in a body bag. It's like I'm talking about
Yeah.
somebody dying at that point, and I'm like, yeah, it's like nah, it's not for me.
Dude, you know what's so crazy? I had a song that I made. So I used to live in California, and that's where I started my music journey, right? And that's when I was just like, I fell away from my faith. I was not thinking about Jesus at all. I wasn't going to church. I was more focused on partying, woman, drugs, and everything. So I made this song called Melrose, and it's called "She Do Her Dance." And when I listen to it back now, I'm like, who is this person? Like, this is not me. And I'm rapping, and I'm just like, yo, this is insane. Like, the more I grow in my faith, the more I'm like, the old me is gone, the new me is come. Like, so I'm so happy the Lord transformed me, because I'm listening to him like,
I have a
it's a good
question.
song, but the lyrics is terrible.
Have you considered to convert it into a Christian song?
I don't know, I wouldn't even know how to do that.
I
It's
feel
so
I,
it's
I feel like that would be a challenge, but I feel like that would be a healthy challenge because it's like
I'm gonna take
think of it like a cover up tattoo.
yeah,
It's like most cover up tattoos. What happens with them? It turns something that is not presentable to something presentable.
yeah.
So it's like, and then not only that, you can then have that as a story piece essentially. It's like, It's kind of like what J Cole did, where he has one song in reverse, it's one song, and then the other is like I forgot what song. Like the
Okay.
beat was reversed for one song and another.
Yeah.
So it's like, but in your
That could be a
case,
healthy challenge.
yeah, it's like, and at the same time, it's like some people want to know what music you used to have, and it's like you've
Yeah.
already posted it, it's out there. Once it's on the internet, it's there forever. So it's just like there's no shame behind it. Like take for example, that one lady that used to do OnlyFans and now she's a born again Christian. It's like she's not ashamed of what she did. It's like it's more of like if she felt ashamed of what she did, it's like then that's just the devil doing his thing, like trying to break you down.
Hmm.
But it's like it's there, it's acknowledged. So it's like if you made secular music previously, it's like it's always gonna be there. But you can then be like, look, it's like if you like my secular music, you'll definitely love my Christian music because you're
Hmm.
on that same
That's
journey at
good.
this point.
That's actually good. And yeah, like I've been I've been thinking about stuff like that, but I mean, I would definitely give it a try. It'll definitely, like you said, be a healthy challenge. But I feel like it'll be fun. So that's a good note to take down. So we'll see.
That's how I feel about life. Like whenever I've made mistakes, I try to go do the same thing again, but in the positive way. Because it's like
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I made this mistake. I was negative a little bit. It's like I need to make sure that I don't fall in that same path again. So I forcefully put myself in that uncomfortable situation again, just to make
Okay.
sure that I'm better now. Now, granted, it's like there are some situations where I'm like, nah, I won't go there. Like I'm not gonna go put myself in a position and like let's say I'm not going to go to a club where everybody's trying to go and just hook up. It's like no, it's like
Hmm.
I'll go to a bar with my boys and my friends if they want to
Hmm.
just hang out, but I'm not going to go to the club, especially it's like if my fiance ain't going to go with me. It's like, and at the same
Right.
time it's like I know what's going to happen at the club. Now would I rather go to like a actual class for like dancing? Oh yeah, I'd rather go do that because then it's like it's fun, it's interactive, it's more personal between me and my fiance, and at the same time we're both learning something together. It's like
That's good.
people don't think that you can do almost the same things you do. Like you don't have to go to a club to be dancing with your partner,
Right.
but it's the environment. It's like people like that environment, the socialization, and I get it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just more sense. Is like, what are you doing in that environment? Are you getting drunk? Are you doing
Mm.
drugs? It's like, are you being lustful while you're there? It's like
Yeah.
those are the common things that people don't think about because they're in the moment.
Hmm.
And I know for a fact because I used to be clubbing all the time. It's like,
Right.
shoot. So this is just a fun fact and also kind of funny is like I used to actually go to gay clubs. People don't even know that about me. And it's like I would have the honestly, between regular clubs and gay clubs, I had the best time of my life at a gay club.
Really.
Not even joking. Because one, they weren't trying to hook up with me or nothing like that, or they weren't trying to like, make me switch sexuality or none of that. But they treated me way better than anybody treated me in the regular club.
Oh wow.
The energy, or at least should I say the vibes that they presented was like a lot more respectable. But again, it's because they have no shame of who they are, like what actions they live in, and they don't feel the boundaries of like judgment. And I would tell them too, I'm like, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and they would be surprised when I say that. They're like, then why are you here? It's like, don't you
Hmm.
guys hate us? And I'm like, I literally just smoked weed the other day. It's like I'm technically sinning just as bad as you are. And then they start laughing. They're like, so you see sin as everything as the same? It's like, yeah, every sin is the same equal value. It's like just by me saying a bad word as if I just killed someone. It's like every sin holds the same amount of weight. So that's why I'm like, the second that you say that, oh, this sin is worse than the other, that tells me that there's pride really hard in your heart. Like it's just in
Hmm.
there because you're now looking at everybody through the microscope.
Yeah. Yeah. And like that's another form of pride and lack of humility. You know what I mean? The Lord calls us to deny ourselves before the Lord and be humble and stuff like that. And He also calls us to hold each other accountable and stuff like that. And so that was good what you said.
And then I think the last time that I went to like a club bar scene, I was actually surprisingly preaching to people in the club.
Yeah.
And there was this one cat who was looking at me like super angry, and I was like, yeah, you're mad because I'm talking to these two women, explaining to them about Christ and how it's like is it that I can be in this environment and not drink and be involved with everybody? And it's like, and they're interested about that. But then it's like the guy that wants to hook up with them is looking at me with devil eyes because he's like, you're taking them away from me. And
Mm,
I'm like that. That's the thing. Is like, granted, I was in a way better spot then. Like I was fasting all the time. I was praying all the time. So it was a lot easier for me to be like no to drinking. Like I started drinking again, but not like to drink to drink. Like I'll enjoy a
right.
shot of Jameson mixed in with ginger ale. So I'll drink it slowly just to kind of enjoy a smooth drink.
Hmm.
But it's on very specific occasions. I don't try to do it often because one, it's expensive, and two, it's like I don't need it in my life. But again,
Good.
I tell people it's like I still do certain things, so don't think that I think that I'm better than anybody else. So that's why I try to tell people like it's okay to still do things, just be very self aware as you're growing as well, because there
Hmm.
will be a point where I'll probably never touch a drink again. That might
Right.
happen, and when that day happens, it's like there won't be no surprises because I told them like I used to drink 12 packs with everybody like it was water.
Hmm.
And then now it's like just drinking one drink, I'm like, man, I already feel like I'm getting drunk. I can't drink more than half a drink now.
Yeah.
So like the body is
That's,
already recovering from all the past addictions, so I want to keep it off of those addictions.
mm, that's good, dude. And I'm encouraged to hear that, bro. Cause like people think, all right, yes, once I become a Christian, I can't drink anymore, or I can't. Let's say they used to play sports all the time. They were just getting super angry while playing sports, or just super prideful. Oh, I can't play sports anymore. But it's not that. The Lord doesn't say, unless it's like super, super crazy.
Oh yeah,
But the Lord doesn't say you should stop that. But He just say be diligent about it. Like you be self-aware, be sober-minded. Meaning, if you know that, oh, okay, if I have 3 drinks, I'm gonna get drunk and then lust over this woman. Maybe you shouldn't drink three. Stay at one. Or if you know if one drink is going to lead to three, maybe you shouldn't drink at all. And that's the thing that the Lord is like trying to teach us in that form of wisdom. Like be wise when you're making certain decisions in your life. Well, it doesn't matter what it is. Just make sure you are being wise and have a sober mind when picking and choosing what you're about to do.
oh
So
yeah.
uh, that was good.
And I tell people, just remember, what you do tomorrow doesn't matter what you did yesterday, because it's like
Hmm.
tomorrow you could literally be a whole new person, and
Yeah.
what you did yesterday is irrelevant because that's all officially the past. And it's like, especially if you claim to believe in Jesus, is like that's your retribution right there. It's like that's the start. It's like that's your new life. So it's like everything behind that is like, yes, it's still your past, but that doesn't mean that's your identity anymore.
Yeah. That's good.
And most
That's
people
good.
most people have that issue of that separation, separating your past, because then they start feeling
Hmm.
guilty about their past and feeling bad about their past. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to feel guilty about it. You're not supposed to feel shame about it. What you're supposed to feel is the acknowledgement of that's who you were before you knew good. That
Hmm.
was you while there was the absence of God, which is the absence of good. If God's not
That's good.
there, is the absence of good.
Yeah. And that's why the Lord tells us in the scripture, like deny ourselves daily. Deny yourselves daily. And it's a
So
daily process, daily battle. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like, so how long, when actually would you say you started truly your music journey? And this includes the secular side. When was the actual like time frame? Like, was it in high school? Was it in college? Like, what was the key moment that told you, hey, I want to do music? Like, what actually drew you into wanting to make music from the beginning?
So I've always had some idea of like I wanted to do something in entertainment, but it was when I moved to California in 2020. That's when I started that whole journey. I was just like, let me just take a shot. Let me do it. Because in California, everyone's doing everything. Everybody does music, everybody's modeling, everybody's doing YouTube, everybody's doing some form of entertainment. And I wanted to dabble in them all, and music was one of them. And so I forget, I remember when I made my first song, it was called Conscience, and it came back like, yeah, in 2020 and got good reviews. It was cool. And that wasn't even the start of secular music. It was clean and everything. And then as long as I lived in California, the more I got sucked into the California culture, and then that's when all the hardcore secular music started to like just become my identity and who I was, like the drinking, the partying, the girls, the smoking, the degrading women, all of that. And so 2020 is when I started making music in general. In 2023 is when I started making gospel music.
Okay.
But I just released this past year.
So, who was your influence in your life that led you towards like gospel music, but or at least having a Christian, or I don't like saying Christian as a word, but having a faith in Jesus, like in believing in God. Who was your person that helped ground you a little bit?
I would say my grandfather, my grandparents. So growing up, those are the people who I lived with. And so they were truly the image of God. Obviously, they were still flawed as human beings, still sinful as human beings, but they showed a lot of grace towards me, a lot of love, a lot of forgiveness, even when I rebelled against them and stuff like that. So when I would see them, I would see how the Lord is working in their lives because the way they were teaching me is how the Lord would teach me. You know what I mean?
Are your
And so
grandparents
that was
still with us? Or
my grandmother is. My grandfather passed away around this time last year, but he was basically like my father figure, basically.
so he
If
was
you
your
want to put
father.
it
He
that
was your
way.
pops. He was your pops.
His pops, his pops,
Yeah.
and he was the homie too. He was just old, you know what I mean? But he was a blessing because he just taught me what it means to be a man of God. And looking back on it, like back then, I didn't understand. I was just a kid who just wanted to live life and have fun, and I did not understand. A lot of stuff would go one in one ear and out the other. But when I look back at the things he's done in my life and the things that he said, I'm like, dang, he was really trying to shape me into becoming a man of God, and that was to me that was just like a blessing. And I thank God for that He put him in my life.
Hey, look, for me, it was my aunt and uncle. Is like if it wasn't for them, it's like yeah, my mom. So my mom, she. This is the thing. My mom prayed for me my whole entire life for me to find
Hmm.
God. And for whatever reason, I went to California to live with my not live, but I went to go visit my aunt and uncle. I ended up living with them for a bit.
Oh, wow.
And it's like I ended up, they told me straight up, it was like if you want to live here, you got to go to church with us. And I was like, okay, thinking I was gonna be slick and not go to church. And then
Right.
but no, I ended up going to church, and that's where I fell in love with Jesus. I was like, yo, this is a different feeling. This is a different life. And
Yeah, yeah.
so I thank them for everything that I've learned up to this day, because if it wasn't for them taking me to church, granted forcefully per se, I made the agreement that I
Hmm.
was supposed to go to church if I was going to stay with them. But also, they gave me an insight in life where it was different, because like my parents were divorced when I was really young, so I only had my mom because my dad was locked up. And so my mom, she couldn't fill the pants of a man in the household, but she did her best. And so I grew up very rebellious, but I still grew up very loving as well. So it's like there was an unhealthy balance. And so when I got to my aunt and uncle's crib, it's like I got that healthy balance. It's like my uncle was the father figure while my aunt was the motherly figure. It's like they never will replace my mama. My mom's my best friend, but they
Yeah.
played a role to where I was able to witness what a Christian household was technically supposed to be looking like.
Mm.
So they gave me a little bit of structure. They gave me a little bit of like a new insight, because in reality I wasn't the family member, like I was the family member that everybody would come to and ask for advice, but I was never the family member that like took care of other family members.
Mm.
With them, they had two kids. They were the first ones that I truly like actually took care of their kids, like helped them out and like babysat or take them out to Sea World and stuff like that. So I got to learn how to be a big brother essentially, which is something I wanted to do because I was an only child.
Right.
And so shifting gears to fast forward to now, it's like if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't be also seeking the path of like, you know, getting people to learn about who God is by my actions, not by me telling you you should, fall in love with God, or you should know who Jesus is, or you should know what the Holy Spirit feels like. No, it's me living my life in a way where people are now curious, like, what does he do? Why is he always in a like
Good.
better mood, or why is it that he just doesn't care about what the world has to offer anymore? It's like he just
Mm.
knows that he can have fun in any situation, and that's how I just try my best to live life. Is like, do I get sad sometimes? Yes. Do I get mad sometimes? Yes. It's like, but I don't focus too much on those time frames because the second I start gearing focus towards it, I'm now already neglecting the path that I want to be on, which is have fun and just do good.
Bro, and that's a good word, bro. I, dude, and just to hear that story and see like your walk, see your growth where you are now. I mean, that's praise to God, man. Like who knows? He maybe wanted you to be in this position that you are in right now, but he had to allow you to go through that stuff to get you where you are right now. And I think that's just a blessing. That's what this life is, a journey,
Yeah,
a long journey.
and we never know what tomorrow is part of tomorrow's journey, man. Every single day, I'm just like, what are you going to put in my life, God? It's like, what are you going to surprise me with next? And and this is one of the things too. Like I said, is like I want everybody to have the freedom of speech because, like the first interview I did, is like I put a
Yeah.
disclaimer because it was a legitimate, like a little bit of political talk, but at the same time, someone expressing themselves passionately about what's actually happening in their homeland and how it's interfering with their day to day life. It's like,
Oh wow, really?
oh yeah, so you know how in the United States is like there's a lot of talks of immigration about how things are. My family's from El
Yeah.
Salvador, so it's like I've told people straight up, I'm like, look, I agree with immigration. I don't agree with how they do it sometimes, but I think
Yeah.
it's a key important factor that there's structure in that. Because I've even told my family members, I'm like, look, if y'all come to the states, reach out to us. We already are citizens here. We was like we know what it's like. Like the court systems are a pain in the butt. Is like we understand that doing the paperwork is a pain in the butt as well. But you have us here to try to help you. And if you guys can't reach out to us, it's like don't come to the country illegally because you're only going to make it worse for yourself. You're not going to make it worse for me. It's like my family coming illegally to the United States. It doesn't affect me. It affects them. It affects the
Hmm.
family back home in El Salvador as well because it's like now they're going to have to scavenge for money to try to get them back. Because I've told them straight up, it's like if you get yourself caught up, I'm not going to give you a dime or a nickel or a penny to get you out of whatever. I'm not going to pay for your lawyer fees because I warned you not to come here in the first place until you do things the
Hmm.
right way. And I learned that as well myself the hard way. My mom used to give me instructions, I didn't do them, and then I had consequences, and then she just let me how to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's tough
That's
love.
sometimes. Yeah. And that's the same thing the Lord shows us is that tough love. He'll allow you to make these certain decisions in your life, and he'll be like, "You see, I told you you need me. I told you
Hmm.
got to stop acting like this, and not look at you." Like that's what. Yeah.
So, as of right now, in your music journey, do you find yourself trying to go the route where you're gonna find a production company that where you're gonna get signed on by, and because I've heard good and bad about production companies in the Christian music world. And for me, it's like I feel like in order for a Christian artist to really strive forward, that they should really stay independent because the second they sign that contract, I feel like you then now have to chase your dreams while fighting the company that hired you.
Yeah. So my thought process right now is to just do what I enjoy doing. I'm not solely focused on getting signed. Like if it happens, cool. But I'm not really like focused on getting popular or getting signed and stuff like that. Obviously, like I do different promotions to promote the song, to promote the music videos and stuff like that. But I'm not really like, oh my gosh, I just have to get famous. I just have to go crazy. I'm just like, the Lord's gave me this gift, and I want people to hear this music because they're hearing my testimony through the music, and they're also getting the taste of what God has done in my life, and hopefully it connects with them on a spiritual level. And so that's kind of like where I'm at with this music thing.
Okay. Do you have you performed anywhere?
I have not, man. I've been trying to, but it's hard. It's hard in Toledo to try to perform. Like the next biggest places like Cleveland and Detroit. and it's hard to find places that I guess accept the Christian vibe. I guess I could go to like some regular place that doesn't do Christian stuff, but will allow Christian hip hop. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
But
and
I
again,
haven't looked too much into it.
see, like I used so when I got into photography, I somehow managed to end up in the underground hip hop scene. Don't ask me how.
For
I
real?
I literally somehow managed to get into it, and so I was doing pictures and videos for people that were starting their rap careers, and I even got invited to an event where I did photography and film at a strip club. So
Oh wow.
it's like it's like even though as a believer, it's like I still have had some interesting moments where I could have said no, and it's like, but my stubbornness was like, it's like it's a strip club. Oh, they're just there to party. It's not going to be actual strippers. No, they were actual strippers. so, so I was like, okay, learn my lesson. It's like but it's like the underground hip hop scene. What I've noticed is that there's really no Christian artists that have snuck in per se to, and that's what I was mentioning about like if you make your music to where it leans towards secular, but it's actually not. So
Hmm.
it's like it attracts them to even consider that Christian
Yeah.
music at that point because you can still make secular music and it still be Christian as long as the message portrayed in it is still within the morals, like you were mentioning earlier.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And that's why with my Rocky Road freestyle, it's like the beat from the beat to the flow to the lyrics is just like it's tough. A lot of people were just like, I can listen to this when I'm working now. I can listen to this when I'm driving. This, that, and the third. Like this actually like a pump up song. It's not like a hymn or like actual, I guess, gospel singing tracks. It's like
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day, this hip hop.
Yeah.
You know?
I gotta get in touch with a couple people from the church that I used to go to in Virginia. There's this one cat who loves sharing like hip hop Christian music. He
Oh, for real?
actually, so I want to say he's in leadership in the church, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he's just a volunteer, but he plays that mentor role.
Yeah.
And I remember like he would always tell like the youth be like, "Oh, you want some Christian hip hop music for working out?" Because that's what he loved doing was working out. And he would give them a whole playlist of like Christian music that he found that would hype. So I'm like, I need to get in touch with them and find out is like, what's his name so I can send him your music. Be like, hey, now you got another
Oh, that'd be
artist to
dope.
share. Because the church that I used to go to, now again, because I went and did production there for a small period of time, it's like I learned a lot about the church. So what they told me is that Brandon Lake actually started. I don't want to say starting exactly in that church specifically, but he definitely was a huge role in that church.
Oh wow, really?
So even before he went to Elevation, that's the church that I was at. It's called Life Point. It's in
Okay.
Fredericksburg, Virginia. But yeah, it's like supposedly. So I was training to become a miniature director or producer for the church side where they had a pop up church in a high school. So they were trying to teach me how to do all the cable management, how to plug in specific things, making sure how the sound works, just making sure all the wires were good. That I knew how to do it myself because sometimes somebody would call out if they got sick, and I was like, man, this is too much. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, this is too much even for me.
Right.
Like I was enjoying volunteering all the time, but I was like, nah, this is too much. And then at the same time, I'm like, I need to unfortunately make a little money for how much time I'm going to invest. It's like, and that right there, I'm like, I wasn't ready for volunteering in a church like that. I wasn't, my heart wasn't there just yet because I was still looking for money, even though I've already been supplied with enough already.
Right.
But I think it was also because I knew my car was like acting up at the time, so I was scared that I was gonna have to pay an extra bill.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, and if I'm having to drive to volunteer to church, I'm like, man, it's like just hook me up with like $100 at least for that day. It'll add up. It'll add up. It's like I'm here for almost what 5 6 hours. $100. What is that? That's
Right.
not too bad. I'm not taxing you guys.
It's like that's
But
funny.
but again, it's like but a lot of them had to put in a lot of work and time and dedication to where they're at, because it's like, I always had this idea of like, one day I would be a church staff member, but at the same
Yeah,
time, this environment that I was in, I learned that that's not my role. It's like I'm not meant to be in that role. It's like I would go to men's breakfasts all the time, and they would be like, "Oh, it's like
mhm,
I could see you as a pastor one day, or I could see you doing this," and I'm like, I don't see myself as that. And it's like, and it's even outside of that environment. People have told me it was like you'd be a great therapist or counselor, and then other
yeah,
people have said also being a pastor, and I'm like, I don't know about that. He's like, it would be great if I was a pastor, but I'm like, I don't think that I could do that. It's like I look at all these pastors that I see nowadays, and yeah, no, comparison is the thief of joy. But I look at them and I'm like, truly, in comparison to how much I love the Lord and how they show their love for the Lord, I'm like, I think I'm still close to being a lukewarm Christian, if we're being honest,
mm,
based on those standards. Like,
yeah.
what's that church one that the pastor, is it Philip Mitchell or Mitchell Phillips?
Oh, he's good. Philip Mitchell's good.
Now, that man right there, I listen to him and I listen. Like,
Yeah,
even though people are like, oh, he's yelling, I'm like, I don't care. He's telling you the truth. it's like,
yeah, bro.
it's like, no pastor is going to talk to you the way he does. And not only that, it's like, he got that New York slang. And so it's just like, he's talking to you in real talk from his New York side, but he's also talking you to the real you through his Jesus side.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, you get in two of the most realist people talking to you at the same time, because people think that it's like you're just that one person. I'm like, no, when Jesus is, you're the temple, and Jesus, God, the Holy Spirit's inside of you, it's like you're two people in one. People will see Jesus through your actions.
Yeah, and I love that you're saying people will see Jesus through your actions, and that's a key point of how we as believers should carry ourselves. Is when you are walking, people should see Jesus through you. Obviously, we're gonna fall short and we're gonna fail. We're gonna make mistakes, but it's like that's inevitable. But like we're called to walk as Christ did. So that's very very good that you were saying that when people see you, man, they gotta see Jesus. And it's tough sometimes because we fall short, we sin. That's
Mm-hmm.
why Jesus had to come down here and die in the first place because we fall short. But
So, what would be like for your fan base? Because you already have a fan base. It's like there's no getting around that. It's like if you go on Spotify, you can see people have followed you or like listen to your music regularly.
yeah, man.
What's something that you would want them to like know about you or hear about you that they probably won't know because they only know you for your music? They don't know you personally. Like, what's something that like
Yeah,
you would want to tell them to kind of help them either get through something they've been through or are currently going
mhm.
through, or even just like, how should they try to pursue music if they want to get into music as well? Like, maybe you've inspired them to want to do music, but they still haven't gotten the courage yet to get into it. Like, what's something you'd give them as a piece of advice, essentially, from somebody who's had to go through every step of the way?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say to the first question, I would just be like, just follow Christ, man. Just like make sure you are rooted spiritually with Jesus, because sometimes in this life is going to get hard, and this life is going to get tough, and it can be easy to stray away. It can be easy to get addicted, especially if you're in your teenage years. You want to follow the crowd. You want to follow the wrong crowd. I know there's a lot of kids in the youth group that I lead. I love King Von or all these different artists and stuff like that. And it's like you shouldn't soak your mind up with these worldly artists who are putting out evil, basically, who are putting out killings and trying to divide communities and stuff like that. That's not the people that we should be listening to, because that can change your mood, that can change how you treat others at school, and that's how you can treat yourself. You know what I mean? So I would just say for kids who may be going through something, who might be struggling, like I've been there, and the Lord has helped me through it all. Community is very important. So seek a Christ-centered community, whether it's churches or a youth group or any type of group where there is a body of believers. Seek that community. Don't get accustomed to this worldly community that all they want to do is talk about girls or drinking or smoking or talking about people behind their back, just or anything like that. Like find that connection with like a bunch of body of believers that where y'all can connect, and y'all don't even have to read the word all the time and listen to Christian music all the time. That stuff is good, and we should do it. But like sometimes it's just being around that community and watching a sports game, being around that community, going out playing golf if you like golf, football if you like football, anything to get you accustomed to being around a body of believers. And to your second question about for people who want to end up starting music, I would just say test the waters and go for it. Like you gotta get used to getting in the studio and recording because your first time is probably gonna be your worst time, or it might be your best time. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like
You
who
never
knows?
know.
You never know. But like I would just say find a niche, not really a niche, but find like what you like. Do you like rapping? Do you like pop? Do you like R&B? Find what you like, find what you're good at, and then test the waters and test that out. And you always want to have a storyline. You know, you want to make sure you have a start, a middle, and an ending throughout the song process. Lyrics, make sure your lyrics are fun. Cause like honestly, bro, there's a lot of music out that's like this ain't got no texture, no nothing, but everybody like it. So who knows nowadays? Like, what's that? You ever heard that song WTH? I don't want to say it, but it's like
Who's
what
the
the heck?
by?
I don't even know his name, but it's like all over TikTok. It's
Okay,
there's this
I'll
song just like
I'll have to check the
you
trends.
yeah. It's like going viral and it's like blowing up and stuff like that. And there's somebody out there who's been working hard and being diligent with their work. And then this guy's popping off with no substance in his music. I'm not trying to knock him or anything like that, because like when I listen to it, it's like it's a funny song, it's a goofy song, and it's just and it's what he do. He found his niche. But like, yeah, man, just find
Think
your
about it.
niche.
It's like that chicken banana song. I'm not gonna lie, that joint catchy. The
Yeah,
chicken,
yeah, you know what I
nah,
mean.
nah,
Like in
nah.
some songs, just catchy. They ain't got the lyrics are terrible. Like, but the beat is cool. The way they sound is funny, or whatever. Some songs are just like super catchy to where it's like found his niche, he found his thing, or she. You know what I mean?
The always go back to for me, it's like I tell everybody, if you can make a song like Pineapple Pen, you got me for life as a fan.
Yo,
It's like I don't know what it is about that song, but it's like every time I hear that ding 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 AP, it's like immediately my brain's like, yeah, it's about to be a good time.
that's funny.
But and so like, kind of like how music artists, the producer will put their name in the mix. I forgot what do they call it.
Right.
What do they call
The
that?
producer tag?
Yeah, it's like they'll put their tag in, and it's like, and there's some producers. The second you hear it, you're like, yeah, it's like it's about to be a good song. Especially if you've never heard the artist, but you hear the producers involved. Some
Oh
people
yeah.
are like on it immediately. They're like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna listen
It's
to.
London on the track.
hmm
You know, if you hear that, it's gonna be a banger.
It's like same thing with Mustard on the Beat. It's like
Mustard
it's
on the
like
beat.
you're gonna want to listen just because immediately that producer's name is in there.
That is true though. That is true.
And so I'm actually kind of curious what would happen if a lot of Christian rap artists started getting involved with a lot of these producers that make the secular
You
music.
could. That's a. I know Lecrae. I think he worked with a couple of them.
Lecrae has been very controversial. I heard
He has.
now I
Y'all
haven't
have y'all down.
I don't go down the deep end on that stuff, but like literally, I saw one video on TikTok about him. I'm like, I've never heard of the guy, and then I looked, and then the first video is about him already addressing the controversy stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole with anybody.
Yeah.
It's like even if you're talking about your personal life on it right now, it's like no, because I already looked at the comments, and I'm like, nope, not right now. It's like I'll learn about you once the storm has settled out a bit, because it's just like some people sometimes they just become so possessed by trying to destroy a person, and then
Yeah, man. That's what I
just
was about to say.
reading that alone, it kind of leaves you like a distaste. You're like, I don't even want to be near that person because, not saying that I don't want to be near the person because that's what they're being persecuted about. No, I don't want to be near their content because that's all it is at this point. It's
Yeah.
feeding that environment. Now, if he were to just, be doing something completely where he's not addressing the drama or addressing the controversy and he's just making music and making content and people are commenting all this negative stuff, then I'll be like, you know what? He's ignoring all the bad and he's still doing something good. By all means. I'll pay attention to you. I want to see what
Hmm.
you're gonna do. Because there was this one cat in DC. His name is Money Mar. Young kid, and he became really popular really quick. He ended up going to one of those parties where I think it was like Ti, 50 Cent, and I'm not sure if Diddy was there or not. But it's like I met him because of sorry, I knew about him because of his brother. I met his brother randomly walking around. And I was like, man, it would have been cool if I had became his photographer and gone to that event. But at the same time,
Mm.
I'm like, do I really want to go to that type of event?
Right.
Because it's like
I
it's not my
understand where you're
environment.
coming from.
It's like as much as I would love to have meet 57 Ti, I'm like, is that the environment that would I want to be in, or at least I'm used to? And the
Right.
answer was no. So it's just like, even back before I was a believer, it's like I would try to avoid certain situations. Like I always had that like what is it, the sixth sense they call it. It's like that little gut feeling of just avoid a certain thing. It's like I've
Hmm.
always had that with me, and it's like doing photography for Money Mar would have been one of those feelings where I'm like, nah, it's okay. But honestly, I did like his music though. It's like, granted, he was young, so it's like to me, I'm like I'm listening to a kid. And so it's just like it was a little awkward, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? It's like it still bumps. It's like I gotta get used to listening to somebody who's way younger than I am. That would be an interesting take.
That's funny.
Because even now, it's like if I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see a music artist, the first thing I do, and it sounds weird, but it's like the first thing I do is I make sure they're an adult. One, because it's like it's kind of weird to listen to music coming from a kid as an adult. That's just my take on it
Hmm.
because I'm like, I need to listen to people that are a little more mature. Granted, some kids are mature,
Makes sense.
but it's like I steer away from listening. And like, you know what? It's like they're influencing other kids. I'm gonna let them stay their lane. I'm not gonna try to become like the cool kids, as they used to say. And the same thing happens with churches nowadays. A lot of pastors or church leaders per se will try to come down to the kids level, and then they kind of sometimes veer off their path. I've noticed, and not often, but they
Hmm.
sometimes do veer off. And then there's this almost aspect of where they have to satisfy the need of getting the attention of the young kids by acting like a
Yeah,
young kid. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. I'm
I
like,
can see that.
kids literally came to Jesus and talked to him. Kids wanted to be around him.
Yeah.
It's like, and he didn't have to act like them. He just,
Right.
he just was him.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Is you have to be, for one, you have to know who you are and be comfortable with who the Lord has made you to be. You ain't gotta scoop to the like. It's okay to have fun with them, but like when
Yeah,
you're trying to like, I guess, act like them, then it's like, all right, come on, like what we doing? You can have fun with them though, but I get what you're saying.
that's just been something I just, I sometimes just sit behind the scenes and I just watch
Yeah.
because sometimes I'm like, if I'm gonna volunteer and help out, I want to see how the leadership functions because it's like, if they function a certain way and I have a different perspective, then I'll pull them aside and have a conversation with them and ask them why is it that they do it that way?
Hmm.
Maybe there's something that I don't know. Like with the nieces and nephews that I have, or at the same time, it's like when I'm just walking around, it's like sometimes babies will stare at me a little too long, and I'm like, why are you looking at me? And then people like some of the aunties and the uncles are like, nah, man, it's like that's good. That means you have a good soul because a kid or a child wouldn't want to look at you or want to hang out with you if you have a bad spirit. That is like kids can typically see that stuff. And I'm like, oh, like, okay, that's a little more comforting. I just thought they were looking at me because I had a big head.
That's crazy.
It's like I always joke about myself. I used to give myself the nickname. I'm like, I got a George Lopez size head. It's like,
Yo, that's crazy. Just Lopez, bro.
yeah, man. It's like sometimes you gotta just have fun. It's like the thing is too is
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
I used to get bullied all the time. Well, at least they tried to. And so I would make the jokes first, and then they would start laughing, and then I started clowning on them, and then they would get mad and be like, "Who's the bully now?"
Right. Is that what they gonna say? You already said it,
Hmm.
so they can't even say that.
So just to kind of go a little off topic, so as for family life, you mentioned your grandparents are who raised you. It's like, did something happen to your mom and pop, or is just it you had a different beginning of life? And if it's a little too
Also,
personal, we don't have to go there. It's all good.
not for sure. So like my parents, they had me when they were young. I guess not too young. They were like early 20s,
Yeah.
but they just liked the party lifestyle. You know what I mean? So there'll be a lot of times where they rather party or just simply couldn't take care of me. And so, and they got divorced at a young age. So then it was like, do I want to stay with my mom? Do I want to stay with my dad? Anytime I go to my mom's house, I'll be crying and wouldn't want to be there. And I go to my dad's house, he be partying all the time. So my grandparents took me in, but it was all God's plan, dude. Because like I know for a fact if I wasn't able to live with my grandparents, I would not become the man or be the man I am today for sure.
Do
So,
you do you still talk to your mom and dad?
oh yeah, we have a pretty good relationship. I'm actually going to see. I actually saw them last week, my dad, and I'm going to see my mom this Saturday.
No, that's
And
good,
so
man.
yeah, man, we've been having the past like 2 3 years. We've been trying to work on our relationship and get it back, and that's been a blessing because like right now, me, my dad, my auntie, and my sisters, we're all doing this Bible study on the Bible app, so
Oh,
we can
that's
like
great. That's great
yeah,
to hear,
man.
man.
So that's it's been a blessing, man. God's doing some good work, man.
It brought a party animal to have a different type of party, a Bible
For real.
party.
Yup. That's funny. How do you use that?
Hey, it's like it's like it's real life. You can't take it serious sometimes too. It's like I like joking about
Yeah.
everything. Like when my brother, I call him my brother, but he's one of my closest friends. When his dad passed away, man, we were cracking jokes left and right at the funeral. And people, and here's the thing, me and him are cracking jokes, and that's his dad, right? Well, everybody in the funeral were mean mugging us. And I'm like, y'all
Yeah.
have no right to mean mug us because this is his kid right here. It's like he's cracking jokes. But they were all pissed because we were cracking jokes. They're like, that's so inappropriate. It's like, y'all are so immature. How could you? And we're like, y'all didn't hang out with him that often. It's like that old man would crack jokes left and right. Didn't matter who it was.
Right.
And it's just like, so we're honoring his memory by doing the same thing he would do with us. Man, he used to cook us. I don't care what anybody says. Even though he was an old head, he would just make us tear up and laugh, but he would also make us feel bad. Oh, it's like old heads are just, they got some funny
They're
insults and
built different, man. Yeah, they built different. They got the jokes, man.
it's like I still think about that day. It's like it's one of those memorable moments because even our coworkers were there too, and they were all staring at us like, "Y'all ain't right." Oh man. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. So it's like I'm gonna shift gears to like a couple of questions, and then it's like if you still want to keep on going, it's like we can keep on going. But I know that it's like the time zone difference is like I don't want to keep you up too
I
late.
forgot about that. Yeah, it is pretty good difference, ain't it? What
So
you 3 hours behind?
yeah, 3 hour difference between you and I think.
Okay.
What time is it for you right now?
8:43.
Yeah, so 3 hour difference. So if you were to, I want to say, look at your music from an outside perspective, like let's say you're your own biggest critic, would you say that you are succeeding currently with the music you're making, or do you think that there's still more room for improvement?
I would say there's still more room for improvement, only because this past song was my first release of gospel, hip hop, gospel rap, whatever you want to call it. So it's definitely room for improvement always, for
Okay.
sure.
And then when it comes down to the business side of it, have you already kind of created an agenda of like, do you think that you're going to want to do merch one day, or do you think that you're going to want to kind of do some classes to teach people how to, not many people know how to rap properly. Like I don't know how to rap
Mhm.
properly, and I know that there's a science behind it. Is that something that you've considered too? Is like maybe teach others how to do Christian rap by teaching them how to rap?
As far as that, not really. I don't think I'd be the greatest teacher because some people just ain't. I'm gonna be honest. Some people just ain't got it. Like sometimes it's just like you can draw. You can stick with drawing. You can sing.
Stick.
Singing. You can't rap. You know what I mean? Because like I don't know. That's an interesting thing. I never tried it, so I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anybody who's tried it, but that hasn't been on my mind. But as far as merch, like I have a creative mind, so merch has always been on my mind. Like trying to design stuff like that. I try to do all my own cover art for the songs and stuff like that. Like I do that all by myself. I just love being able to design and create stuff. I'm not a drawer though, not a drawer. So all the designs I do and stuff are basically either AI or words
Okay.
that I try to put together. But for sure, merch in the near future is something that I'm looking at and looking forward to because I already have a bunch of stuff designed and ready to release. I just ain't got the time right now, or the I guess the funds and the what's it called, the fan base popularity or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Everything's still growing, but you at least have the big vision already planned out.
Right.
That's good, man. It's like not many people. So people that start out into music, I've noticed that some of them do it as a hobby, but when you have a passion, I'm kind of curious sometimes how far has your passion, like how far have you envisioned it? So it's just like
Mm,
because I want to have your fan base know as well, like how far ahead are you already thinking? It's like, do you see yourself performing at a concert where you would not be expected to perform, but you got invited there because of who you were, the everything lined up properly. You met the right people to be at an event, and now you're doing Christian gospel rap at let's
mm-hmm.
say what's that festival that everybody goes to in LA or
Oh,
California?
Rolling Loud.
Yeah, it's like imagine yourself there doing Christian
Yeah.
rap. It's like people would be mind blown. But at the same time, it would be one of those like greatest change trademarks that happens in life. It's like
Right.
the industry now has that shift. It's like even with Brandon Lake showing up there is a huge already trademark showing is like the shift is happening. I don't think
Yeah.
Maverick City played there before. I think they went there as a group to hang out, but I don't think they actually performed.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
And I would honestly, I'm surprised that they weren't chosen as a performer for Rolling Loud. I'll have to double check their schedules because it's like Maverick City ended up becoming very mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, but they have definitely become mainstream. There's a lot of big like Bethel music's pretty big up there.
Yep.
Who else? You said Maverick City, Bethel, Upper Room. There's a lot of big bands that's up there.
So the last question I have is going to be kind of a controversial question.
Okay, let's see it.
So if somebody came up to you and said it's like, Christian rap is not appropriate, and they were supposedly a believer as well,
Hmm.
what would be your reaction? Like how would you try to address the conversation to either A, try to show them as like a different insight, is like can you back yourself up biblically as well? And
Hmm.
three is like has that already happened?
That's never happened to me. One thing I would ask them is just like, all right, for one, where is this stemming from? Have you had a bad experience from a person or a rapper who said they were a Christian rapper, then they said certain things? And then I'll ask them, all right, is my music contradicting or hypocritical? Yes or no? And depending on what they say will determine my next question. But I would say, like, even angels sing, angels glorify the Lord. We're called to glorify the Lord in whatever we do, whether it's singing, rapping, drawing, dancing, playing basketball. That's why you have like Steph Curry. He proclaims God. He has his shoe brand, who's that's written on his shoes and stuff like that. And I'm like, as long as I'm glorifying the Lord, not being hypocritical, and yeah, and like just leave it at that. As long as I'm glorifying the Lord and not being hypocritical in what I say, I would just be like, show me somewhere in Scripture that says what I'm doing is wrong,
That's good, man.
and I leave it at that.
That's good. It's like one thing that comes up in my life that will probably happen in your life as well. Not projecting it, I'm saying it's just it's something that
Mm,
happens to us believers, where somebody tries to bring your past up or like past action.
100%.
And it's just like, especially because you're going into a music industry where it's like you'll get attacked left and right because of the word rap, not because of
Mm-hmm.
Christian, but
Right.
rap. And so it's like, and not only that, it's like, are you, so I didn't ask you this question. It's like, what's your full ethnicity?
I got a bunch of stuff mixed. I'm black and Dominican.
Okay.
Just leave it at
So
that.
it's like, and people may agree and disagree. I still think racism is still a thing. It's like some people say it's not. I'm like, no, racism is still alive and well, even though it's not well. It's just it's something that sucks. Do you, with being a rap artist, does that also kind of portray like has people given you racism with it, or it's just kind of been like smooth sailing?
It's been kind of smooth sailing. So I think what helps is the community that I am a part of and my church. They're very, very diverse. And the kids that I lead in youth group, they're white. And they love the music, their parents love the music. Their parents even shared the songs on their social media platforms and stuff like that. And I wouldn't I would say from that perspective, no. Maybe from the outside perspective, if somehow, some way I blow up or I go to a different city or I go to a different church and I might get weird looks and stuff like that. But so far, everything's been pretty good with that. Like I said, within my church, we're very diverse: whites, blacks, Mexicans, Hispanics, whatever you want to call it. They all go to that church, but they're all very supportive, and they've shown nothing but love and support for me as well. And so
So
that's what I gotta say on that.
my question comes out of ignorance, and I'm not gonna lie about that. Is because for me, I'm like Ohio is like I don't know what the demographic is in Ohio. So that's why it's like
Okay,
that's where that question came from. It's like it's a little bit of ignorance
got you.
because it's like again I'm just trying to learn even my own country. And
No, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I get you.
then now the big question is, do you speak Spanish since you're Dominican?
I don't, man. Hey,
Oh
listen.
man,
Wait. Hold on.
I'm
So
listening.
my my mom does.
Mhm.
And I can understand her when she speaks it and stuff like that, but she has a different dialect because she
Okay,
just be
yeah.
talking. You know what I mean? But like when I was growing up, I wasn't able to see my mom all like that, and she has the Dominican side in her. So yeah,
All I'm saying is Duolingo is really good, surprisingly, at helping people speak different languages. All I'm saying is that you have an opportunity to nail the cross essentially on both sides. You can do your
oh, like with the
music,
music thing.
yeah. You can hit the Christian music in the Spanish world too.
That is true, man. Hey, that's a good idea, but I ain't get to do a lingo, man. I take too much time, man. I feel like
Listen,
it
we
just
just watch yourself this week and see how many gaps you have, and you're like, maybe 5-10 minutes is actually not so bad.
that's true.
Because I've seen
What's
people.
what I'm gonna do?
Hmm?
I'm gonna write a verse, and then I'm gonna have you speak it in Spanish and send it back to me, and then
Man, I'll just hand you the Bible my brother got me that teaches Spanish as well. All right, man. Well, I'm not gonna take up too much more of your time. I'm gonna hit the end recording real quick. Give me 1 second, brother. All right, my brother. Well, I appreciate every single second that you've given me the opportunity to just learn a little bit about you and also about your music and your career. Um, I want to give you a couple seconds to, not a couple seconds, you can even take a full minute, but give shout outs to some people in your lives or just, spread a message you want to spread. Is like the floor is yours. Take the mic, my friend.
yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you too, man. Thank you. I like to shout out my youth kids, Harper and Eli. I mean, there's more of them, but they really helped me with this music thing. So shout out to them. Shout out to my pastor JD and the Intersection Church. They have helped me a lot by showing their gratitude, the way they serve people, the way they love on people, and how they put them how they put the church first. Like they're always seeking out to pray for individuals, always doing a call to action at the altar, and it's just a humbling and encouraging experience, man. So thank you for that. And Jesus, man. Thank you, Jesus.
There you go. All right. Well, I'll make sure to include all the links to your church, to your music, and to anything else you want to share to the family. And again, it's like I do appreciate your time. I hope you have a safe time in everything that you do and you stay blessed, my friend.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.